We were asked on the weekend, why do you give away all your secrets on YouTube?
The truth is, we don't. No one does.
We do share with you how we run our business and how we source some of our items, but the secret is really just networking, contacts, and research.
So today we want to share with you a few sales that your favorite YouTuber has probably never heard of.
Because no one knows everything. The first one is this Frankenstein book. It's a first edition that sold for $250. Next up, this Billy Joel collection of vinyl records sold for $250 plus post. Another awesome book sale was Brush with Passion Dave Stevens. It sold for $349. Sony 5-disc CD player sold for $299 plus post. Another book, Cats, sold for $85 plus international post. The Holy Bible sold for $135. Obviously there are many Bibles in the world, which is why we research each edition. And this King Golf Club sold for $100 plus post.
And the crazy thing is, we didn't know about any of these items before we did that research.
Also want to talk about the difference between a niche store and why we have more of a general store. There's no right or wrong, but there are pros and cons.
So high volume niche stores generally will have easier listing and postage systems, so they can bag and post everything in the same way that they do every single item. Obviously, if you're going for that higher volume niche store, it means you're going to have to do more work for the same money. But it does allow you to be more of an expert in that field.
Our kind of everything general store is perhaps less efficient, but we also have a greater potential reward. And research is the key.
So I guess what we're trying to tell you is do your own research, and this is how. Okay, let's get straight into it. So on eBay, you can do obviously sold searches. And what that allows you to do is filter items that have sold on eBay and work out what they've sold for. For this example, we're just gonna look up some books. So all we're gonna do is type books into the search. Obviously there's gonna be a whole bunch of results as we're not filtering it down by category or type of book, but we can now search by sold and condition as very good or good. It's probably not really worth looking up acceptable unless it's a very rare book. It's probably not going to be worth a heap of money in acceptable condition. And we're also going to filter for items that have sold for $50 plus, and that's because of our circumstances and our overheads. If you want to adjust that down or up, that is completely up to you. So the idea behind doing this search is not necessarily to be looking for specific books. You can obviously try and store a few of those in your head, but the idea is to get an idea of the categories that are selling for those sorts of money, so you can keep an eye out for them when you're in the thrift store, and you can gravitate towards that section rather than individual books. So as we scroll through, we can see a few examples of books doing really well. There's a Stephen King It book here. Now this one is a first edition, so that is another thing that you have to take in consideration with books, is they're not always going to be the same in different editions. They're not going to be worth the same money. First edition is where the bigger money is in a lot of these collectible books. Continue to scroll through, we can see that there are some bundles, which is obviously a great way of making more value out of items that you pick up. And this can be quite useful for books that aren't really worth a lot of money on their own, but are collectible when they're in bigger sets. You can see this surveying book right here. This is a category that's quite interesting. Pretty much anything that is building related or has anything to do with construction might be worth looking up, because those books generally are quite expensive for people to buy up front. But again, the edition is everything. What I wanted to point out was Bibles. As you've seen in footage just there, we have sold one for $135. So if you can do some research on Bibles and work out what type of Bibles sell really well, obviously the older the better. If they're leather bound, that definitely helps, and if they're massive like this one, they can be worth some very, very good money. Category that I want to point out is omnibuses, and especially in graphic novels like this one here. As you can see from the footage, there are some great omnibuses out there that are worth a lot of money, and essentially all an omnibus is all the collection put into one hardcover book. While this method won't give you all the answers, it'll definitely help you make that little bit more extra money when you're out in the thrift store, because you'll be able to identify quickly what categories are worth looking at.
There is so much value out there and no one person can teach you everything. Whether you're niche down or you're an everything seller, there's always something new to learn. So don't just rely on our secrets.
Every single day we're learning something new, whether that's conversations through YouTube, Instagram, or at parties on the weekend.
So the real secret is go find out what we don't know.
So I hope this video has helped you unlock some of that potential that is out there, but the real secret is you need to do the work and no one is going to do that for you. So get out there and get it done.